We all love adventures, and the more challenging the better. On Memorial Day weekend 2021, a group of us set out on a monumental journey. We are going to drive from the famous Giant Rock to Glen Helen, California, across the San Bernardino Mountains on almost only dirt roads. If we make it, it will be a 141-mile journey with some of the most challenging 4x4 places in the mountains between us and our goal. We only have 3 days to do this, so we gotta keep moving. Welcome to day 1 of our mountain marathon run. This trip is across the beautiful San Bernardino Mountains in Southern California. We plan to hit 2 very difficult trails on BLM land and then 14 Black Diamond rated trails in the San Bernardino National Forest. We start in Landers, California at the famous Giant Rock, the largest freestanding boulder in the world. From there, we cross the San Bernardino Mountains to the Cajon Pass, ending in Glen Helen, California. Giant Rock in Landers is about 100 miles and a 2-hour drive from my house. On our way there, we passed the Integratron. I've seen this place on TV shows about aliens, but I didn't really know where it was. My first impressions? It's cooler on TV. Also cooler in photos is the Giant Rock. Up close and personal, the graffiti really takes away from the experience. Also, viewing this from the east with Spy Mountain in the background, the terrain takes away from the impressiveness of the 7-story boulder. When viewed from the right angles, Giant Rock really is impressive. It's 98 feet tall and the largest freestanding boulder in the known world. The Native Americans of the region consider it sacred, and it has a lot of modern history tied to it as well. Day 1 adventures begin with 5 rigs. While waiting on Nick and Barb, Chuck and Alicia, Scotty, Kurt, and Sharon and I get caught up and get ready to roll. Once everyone is ready, we head east through the desert. Quickly, we start climbing into the foothills of the Little San Bernardino Mountains.
No kidding.
Steep, rugged climb. We're trying to find our way up Ruby Mountain to look for Willie Boy's grave. The story behind this was made famous by the 1969 film Tell 'Em Willie Boy Is Here, starring Robert Redford and Robert Blake. It's a love story gone wrong. Willie Boy is accused of murder, and the 2 lovers are killed by the posse pursuing them. Back on New Dixie Mine Road, the traveling becomes much easier. Next, we're trying to find the old Japanese hideaway. We're hiking in to find the Japanese hideaway. We made it to the Japanese camp hideaway. Not a lot left. We'll check it out. During World War II, free Japanese citizens were considered a military risk. Many Japanese were collected and sent to the Manzanar internment camp. Legend has it that one family hid in the mountains. These photos from winter of 2011 give a little more color as to how they had to live. No one knows what really happened to this family, but the story goes they were supported by the local community and lived here throughout the war. The house is pretty much gone now. All collapsed in. Used to be able to walk around inside of it years ago. Not so much anymore. Leaving the hideaway, we continued to push west, eventually reaching a short set of switchbacks. It's just 2 tight switchbacks, but it turned out to be a little tougher than we expected.
As you were saying that, I'm going into the wall and off camber, and you go, oh, it should go right through. I'm like,
sorry. I saw a steep, straight-up bypass for these switchbacks, and now I know why. After the switchbacks, it was a little bit of a drive, but worth it to get to our first difficult BLM trail. This is one of my favorites in the area. It's called Motino Wash.
Watch the dip catcher.
it's a bitch.
Gonna hit it.
Am I gonna nail it?
Yeah.
This trail is almost 2 miles long, but the most technical stuff is in the first quarter mile.
Yeah, perfect. You're over it. Up. Uppercut bumper.
Chuck's got himself a little turbulent.
You're getting no traction.
Even so, this is a boulder-filled wash with lots of challenges throughout the whole length of it.
Hello, sunshine.
There's a small monument on this trail that holds a special place in my heart, and that's the Motino Man. This was one of my nephew's first welding projects. It's made from broken and discarded parts from a Jeep named Mr. Green. The trail gets a little easier towards the end, but there's still some fun stuff to play on along the way.
Yeah. Nice job, Chuck.
Just when you think it's over, you get this little shortcut to play on. As far as I know, this is the only option that actually leaves the wash for any amount of time.
Bill, I'm ready for my close-up.
Oh yeah, look at that flex. Something popped.
It was getting late in the day by the time we reached the Garden of Eden trail. Also on BLM land, this trail is not used often.
What's behind you hiding back there, buddy? What are you doing, huh? Hang on.
It's already full out.
The main obstacle of this trail is pretty much a cliff, just barely wide enough to get a vehicle up. This time of year, it has a small seep that drains down the middle of the trail that keeps everything wet and pools up at the bottom. As we discovered, trying to climb this trail with wet tires is almost impossible. The sun was getting low, and even if I made it up, we still had to get the rest of the group up as well.
It's too wet.
After backtracking, we found a nice area in an old mine camp to stay for the night. On the first day, we only logged 35 miles. We still have 108 miles to go if we're going to reach our goal. But even so, day one was awesome.